Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 176 of Hobby Quick Hits. This is an episode I do yearly, my Major League Baseball preview episode. I do it every year on Hobby Quick Hits, and I'm late by a week or two on this with other things coming up, card mentions, talking about the football off season. So the season just started, so it's not like I've got the answers to the exam ahead of time, but I usually like to do this episode before the season started. Didn't work out as such, so if you've heard this episode before, I'm going to talk about my picks for division winners, playoffs, wild cards, MVPs, rookie of the year, with the obviously hobby element mixed in there as well. So a week or two late, but better late than never.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the Hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes, Cubs announcer, coming to you from the Sports Card Shop in beautiful New Buffalo, Michigan. The Gocher family has built an incredible place here for collectors to buy, sell, and trade cards and memorabilia. Be sure to stop by and let them show you around. TheSportsCardShop.com, connecting sports, athletes, the hobby, and collectors around the world.
Hi. This is Alan Pinkett, and I'm here to tell you the Gocher family has done it again. They've just opened up the Sport Card Shop in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana, and it is awesome. If you're a collector, you need to check this place out. Tell them Alan sent you and get a free gift on your first visit.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Owen.
Hey guys, it's Owen from the Sports Card Shop. Let's go over the weekly releases. On the 10th, we have Topps Heritage Baseball, Upper Deck Connor Bernard Collection Set. On the 12th, we have Leaf Perfect Game Baseball Bonus, Leaf the Muhammad Ali Legacy Collection, Panini Origins Basketball. And on the 17th, we have Onyx Vintage Collection Baseball Mega, Panini Donruss Soccer, Topps Chrome Black Baseball, Upper Deck Black Diamond Hockey, Upper Deck Skybox Metal Universe Champions, and Upper Deck Skybox Metal Universe Hockey. And last but not least, on the 19th, we have Leaf Magnets and then Leaf Metal Football. Thanks, guys. See you guys later.
Let's go round the Hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
And find out.
The biggest thing is, it's really, really special, and I don't think it's going to set in for me for quite some time. I want my legacy to be the impact that I can have on young kids and the people in the state of Iowa.
There you have a emotional Caitlin Clark after the championship NCAA women's basketball game, lost to South Carolina, who did finish the season undefeated. But, Caitlin Clark, very passionate, one of the greatest players ever to play the game. She's going to be just fine. She'll dust herself off and be the number one pick in the WNBA draft. And, the Indiana Fever are going to get a very good player. Her cards continue to take the hobby by storm, even in cases where it's not even her first card. So we're just seeing it across the board. It'll be interesting to see if the outcome of this game has any negative effects. I hope it doesn't, but she played her butt off and got right to that last game. So, now we can collect her on WNBA cards.
My main thing in throwing a ball is to hold your curve, your slowing, or whatever you can faster the same way and let it go with the same delivery. I'd hold my slow ball like this. I don't use a slow ball a whole lot, but that's the way I would throw it.
That voice you just heard was Walter Johnson, the big train, the meal ticket, Hall of Fame pitcher. There's only 2 game-used jerseys that is in the wild, if you will. One of them's at the Baseball Hall of Fame, about an hour away from me. The other has been in personal collections, last sold in 2006 for $352,000. Well, you got a chance to own it again as it's going back on the market with Heritage Auctions. They expect it to bring $3 million now, up from that $352K price in 2006. Again, only 2 of two of these exist, so it's an incredible piece of baseball history. So if you got a few extra bucks laying around, head over to Heritage and get your bids in there. Mascot has now added Whatnot to its platform as they continue to add companies to their partnerships. However, they just lost My Slabs. Speaking of My Slabs, they had a sort of invest in the company fundraiser, if you will. I don't have exact numbers, but I'm being told it was not a great venture. But we'll see how this affects the company long term as they try to raise capital. The 15th annual National Hockey Card Day is approaching, April 13th to be exact. It's going to be different this year, even though it's the 15th annual. It used to be where in Canada, the stores there putting on hosting the promotion, they would get cards with a Canadian flavor. And here in the States, the American LCSs would get NHL cards of American related hockey players. They are doing away with that. It is now universal, so no matter what country you live in, you have the equal opportunity to get the cards. It is a 30-card set, 5-card packs, which will also have all those inserts possible. The 30-card set is broken up into 10 rookies, 10 veterans, 10 legends. You might know a guy that's in the rookie subset. His name's Connor Bedard. And there's also a card number 31, Connor Bedard, which is a rookie moments insert. And this will be given away to anyone that spends $10 on Upper Deck products in the Diamond Elite Club. I don't know how many they make or how limited it is, but if you spend $10, make sure you get your number 31, Connor Bedard Rookie Moments special card there. So this year, no matter what side of the border you live on, you'll be able to get the same group of players.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, let's get to it. We do this every year. We kind of go through Major League Baseball with a hobby tone to it and kind of pick award winners, playoff teams. I make a World Series pick. I've done fairly well with these, maybe with my baseball fandom. But let's go through 2024. I'll start with the American League division winners. I think Baltimore is still the team to beat. They add Corbin Burns to that rotation, which the rotation was already pretty good. And I love Corbin Burns, one of my favorite players, non-Mets, and potential Cy Young winner every year. Doesn't matter that he's switching leagues. Might even be more helpful because with interleague play, those players haven't seen him as much. So I think the advantage goes there. We all know Baltimore's farm system is loaded, and so more more battalions are on the way. Let's go to the Central. I think the Cleveland Guardians. I still can't get used to saying that. I think the Cleveland Guardians are the class of that division, but there's, the Tigers are playing well early. Kansas City's got a bunch of young studs that are helping propel them. Brady Singer's a great pitcher for them. And in the West, I think the reigning World Series champions, another team with some young players that are producing. And I'm going to go with the Rangers to win the AL West, and they're already leading, and they don't even have Scherzer and DeGrom in that rotation. And I think they are leading that division without those two. So when those guys come back, that'll even reinforce what they're doing. Let's go to the National League for division winners. In the East, I'd like to tell you the Mets, but I'm realistic. So I'm going to tell you the Braves look like the team to beat in the National League East, but they have a few injuries here early that we got to keep an eye on there. The Central in the NL is sort of, you got a lot of teams. That could be, I think every team, Pittsburgh right now is leading that division, but you could make a case for any of those teams. I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Reds. I think this is the year they with the young nucleus they have. I know Matt McClain's hurt right now, but he'll be back here in a month or two. I think Cincinnati's going to take a division that's really could go to anybody. Let's go to the NL West. The Dodgers signed anything that was any good that moved. So I'm going to say, the Dodgers are going to be tough to beat. So, all right, let's kind of snake draft this and go with my wild card picks for the National League. I think the Philadelphia Phillies, again, they haven't lost a lot. They kept Nola. Harper probably will play more this year than he did last year. As he adjusts to a new position at first base. Bryson Stott could be in for a big year there. The Padres, again, I don't think they win the division being in the same division with the Dodgers, but they're still a very good young team. Tatis Jr. coming back off the PEDs and going to prove that, hey, I can do it without that. Machado, their pitching staff's actually pretty good as well. So I think they get a wild card berth. And again, I think the third wild card is going to come from that Central Division where there's a lot of teams. And it could be anybody. I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs. I think signing Bellinger, I know he doesn't hit for high average, but he gives them a spark and some power. They got one of the best pitchers in baseball, Justin Steele. That team is, again, starting to get younger. You got Craig Counsell there, surprised everyone taking that job. So I'm going to go with the Cubs for a wild card, but it could be a plethora of teams there. Let's go back to the American League, talk about my wild card picks now. Kansas City Royals. I love Bobby Witt Jr. as a guy I think is going to be a perennial all-star, Hall of Famer, five-tool guy that I buy cards up whenever I can get some deals on him. With the Orioles winning the division, the Yankees are going to make the playoffs and probably save Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman's job. So they'll be a wild card team. They're actually playing pretty well early. They're leading the division right now at the time of this recording. And Garrett Cole won't be back for another month. So I think they're putting themselves in good position. And the final wild card team in the American League comes from the American League West, another team that I like their pitching staff. You got one of the most exciting players in baseball, Julio Rodriguez, and so I'm going with Seattle there. So let's talk about a team on the rise in the American League that I didn't mention as far as postseason, but keep a lookout for them. And this team's actually somehow leading that AL Central. I don't think they can hold on to it, but I think they're moving in the right direction. Riley Green, leader in their outfield. Spencer Torkelson will get better. and Tariq Skubal, they're a great pitcher on that pitching staff. Casey Mize, and they got some young studs coming up through the ranks. So that's the Detroit Tigers. I don't know about this year, but I think in the coming years, very soon, they're going to make some noise. Let's go back to the National League. My team on the rise that I didn't mention as far as these 6 postseason teams. It's going to sound crazy, but the Pittsburgh Pirates. And right now they're playing well. Again, like the Tigers, I don't expect them to sustain that level of play, but they're starting to spend a little bit of money, not comparatively to big market teams, but more so than they used to in Pittsburgh. You got a lot of young players in Brian Hayes, Henry Davis, Rowdy Tellez coming over, is playing well, O'Neal Cruz. So they're not as bad as the Pirates traditionally are. And I think if they spend a little bit more money, develop their farm system, not trade away all their stud players. I know Brian Reynolds is still there, but you always hear about him going to a big market team. If they can keep that talent in place, they got Paul Skeens that'll probably be in the big leagues this year. They're Priester, they're not as bad as they used to be. And I think again, spend a little money, don't get rid of players, move players to other big market teams. They're going to be in the mix in the coming years, as crazy as that might sound or not. So let's go with some award winners, right? Let's pick the MVP. This is a tough one. I know Mike Trout, seems to get hurt now every year. He's playing well early. He's in the mix. He's not my pick, but I wanted to mention him. But I think I'm going to go, I think with Ohtani not pitching this year, he's going to have a great year at the plate. I know some of the controversy, taking that out of the equation. He's in the mix, but I think a teammate is going to be the MVP there. I think the protection that Ohtani will give Mookie Betts will lead to a big year, stolen base-wise, home run-wise, production-wise. And now he's playing in the infield, and that sort of increases his value there as well. So Mookie Betts is my choice for MVP. Let's go to league awards, right? Rookie of the Year in the American League. I'm going to pick a player who's not even in the big leagues yet. Tore it up in spring, controversial send-down. I think he's just a tremendous, going to be a superstar once he arrives, and that's Jackson Holliday. He's going to be up in the bigs this year, and I think he'll be called up early enough to win the Rookie of the Year award. So Jackson Holliday is my choice. I know it's kind of chalk based on height, but he's the real deal, completely legit. Wyatt Langford from Texas is in the running, and his teammate Evan Carter, who had a tremendous 2023 and still eligible for the Rookie of the Year. So those 3 guys, Holliday, Langford, Evan Carter, in the mix there. But I'm going to go with Holliday. Let's go to the National League for a Rookie of the Year. No one really stands out. Yamamoto starting to pitch better after a rough start. Paul Skeens will be in the mix. I know he's not up with the big club just yet, but like Jackson Holliday, I think it's only a matter of time before Paul's in that rotation, heading that up for the Pirates. And the guy from Milwaukee, Robinson Chirinos, I think is going to be the Rookie of the Year. He has all the intangibles, the tools, and made the club out of spring training is starting. So that's my pick for NL Rookie of the Year. Let's go to Cy Young. Let's stay in the National League with Corbin Burns moving on to the American League. It's going to be Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen doesn't get enough credit. We don't talk about him enough. I know in the hobby, pitchers are sort of taboo to buy, or the big I word, invest in or collect. But I think Zach Gallen now, doesn't have to pitch sort of in Corbin Burns' shadow. He's legit in his own right, even with Burns there. But now I think he becomes the class of the National League pitcher. And I talked about him. Let's go to the American League Cy Young. He's won a Cy Young before in the National League. I think he takes his talents to Baltimore, and he puts another Cy Young award on his mantle. That's Corbin Burns. Again, I think it sets up well for him, getting to pitch against a lot of players that haven't faced him as much as National League players. And so I think Corbin Burns, the leader of that Orioles staff, and wins a now American League Cy Young. Going to be a fun year. A lot of young, I know I said this last year, but even more so now. A lot of young talent in the major leagues. Your Bobby Witt Jr., Jackson Holliday soon, Paul Skeens, Chirinos, Julio Rodriguez, Kellenic starting to play better now with a change of scenery in Atlanta. You got more guys on the way. Mason Wynn in St. Louis. I know I'm going to leave. That Baltimore Orioles team is just loaded with Rushman, Gunnar Henderson, soon to be Holiday, and more even in their farms. It's to be a baseball fan and in the hobby. If you're in the baseball side of the hobby, I think it's an exciting time as we get some new blood, some new names. You got your Mike Trout sort of on the the backside of their career. Although I will say this about Trout, probably definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. If he can put a season together, a full season together, which he looks good early. He's still a great player. What hurts him is just missing games and those season numbers being low. And let's be honest, no shot at the postseason with the Angels there. If I'm him, I'm demanding out. If you want to laugh, look at that Angels box score after Trout. There's some minor league teams that probably are better. So I don't know what's going on there with Marino. I know one day he's selling, one day he's not. But if I'm Mike Trout, I'm like, get me out of here. Telling my agent, I'm loyal to a fault, but now it's time to move on. And we see what Ohtani did and took a big contract and went to the Dodgers. So I think it's Trout's turn to kind of demand to move on and get a new scenery, especially as his career tends to wind down here. So, but he's another guy. A lot of people have sort of gotten off that ship, if you will, and good opportunity maybe to pick up some cards there. A lot of young players, like I just mentioned, that would be fun to get some cards of, put away, and watch their career develop. So that is this year's Major League Baseball preview, real time and hobby wise. And so have fun, watching your teams. Have fun collecting your teams and or players, or if you're so inclined to invest some money in maybe a young prospect that you think has the tools and intangibles to be a superstar. I do it, and I know I'm not the only. So with that being said, see you soon. All right, thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/SportsCardNationPodcast/. Twitter, we are at SportsCardNati1, so it's SportsCard NATI1. Instagram at SportsCardNationPodcast, or you can email the show hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.